Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who have made it this far, congratulations, well done. Hard act to follow. I was having a pretty good day until I heard that little presentation. Puts my 30 years in this career into perspective, but anyway, welcome, we're nearly there. I'm Wayne Bramwell, I'm the CEO of ARTTF Resources, and our story is very, very simple. It's about copper, gold and cobalt, and it's in the Pilbara region of WA. I won't read these slides to you. I find that irritating when people do it to me. So in the next 10 minutes, I'll try and very succinctly give you a high-level overview of what ARTEMIS is about. For all the speculators and investors who are left in the room, stick with me. I'll try and make this interesting and short. Our story, well, historically Artemis. In Greek mythology, Artemis was the goddess of the hunt. Today, Artemis is an ASX-listed company. We're the first one to consolidate a very large land package in the Pilbara. Our focus is very simple. It's about gold, it's about copper, it's about cobalt. We've proven to date to be very nimbly corporate. We're aggressive explorers, and our focus now is to systematically advance our resource package to a point where we can start the operating plant that we already own. The key part of our package, or our asset package, is 2,400 square kilometres of the West Pilbara, and gold in this area was first found in the 1880s. That was the first gold rush. The second gold rush in this area largely could be determined to be 2015, 2016, when the conglomerate gold story in this space kicked off again. Our focus in today's talk really will touch on 4 points. First, where we are in exploration, what we're doing with respect to resource development, our strategic asset, which is the Radio Hill processing plant, and what's in front of us. This is the key. As I said, Karratha is a city which is 35 k's from our Radio Hill processing facility, and for those of you who don't know, Karratha is the largest city in the Pilbara. I've not worked on a project with this much infrastructure, and being 30 kilometres from the largest city in this region gives us the advantage of already being connected to the grid. The project's on town water, and the operating plant that we bought, which has been in care and maintenance for 10 years, has been sitting there, had over $80 million of other people's money spent on it. This company basically consolidated the exploration packages of 2 companies, and this is the first time that this ground position's been put back together ever. Amongst the package there is base metal, copper and gold targets, and quite a significant platinum and palladium resource. The template's gone a little bit mad here, but this one picture really explains the strategy. Radio Hill is a mine site that's been on care and maintenance for 10 years. We own that 100% and have been refurbishing it in 2018. Our opportunities really exist in 4 different areas. We've got existing conventional gold targets, shear and vein hosted, conglomerate gold targets, and a mixture of base metal and battery opportunities, which I'll touch on as we go forward. This is our board. As an Australian company, we have over 600 million shares on issue, so our liquidity is strong. A very active board and a market cap of around 75 million Australian dollars today. This is the tail of the tape. Effectively, Artemis has been under new management since 2016, and a joint venture that we did with TSXV listed Novo Gold brought some attention to the space and to us in 2017. As you can see on the fervour of the Pilbara gold rush of 2016-2017, both Artemis and Novo went through the roof, and now we're coming back to different levels. We're at the second phase of the Pilbara gold rush as we speak, where people are actually still having to roll up their sleeves and do the technical work to develop resources. This is one point. I'll talk about exploration, and this is probably one of the hottest exploration areas in Western Australia at the moment. Large majors like Rio are building roads and airstrips and camps, but apparently there's nothing going on in the Paterson's region that they want to tell the market about. The Paterson region is the East Pilbara. Artemis acquired a 600 square kilometre exploration licence late last year and has recently flown a mag survey which has identified 8 magnetic targets next to what is arguably the best exploration find in WA in decades. This exploration target called Haverion has been drilled by a British company called Greatland Gold. Some of the copper gold grades in their first round of drilling has been quite spectacular, and the image you're seeing on this slide was only released to the market late last week. The 600 k's that we own to the north, east and south of Haverion and the work we've done has identified eight mag targets, which again we'll now follow up. All the major companies are working in this space. Newcrest, Rio, FMG, majors are very much trying to get involved in this area. Resource development. This is the key asset within Artemis, and the reason that I joined the company last year is Carlow Castle. It's a copper gold cobalt target. It's at second resource stage shortly, first identified in the 1930s as a cobalt target. We've been working on it for about 2 years. In January 2018, we released a resource of 4.5 million tonnes at 0.9 gold, 0.4 copper and 0.07 cobalt. I expect those grades to come up in the next resource, and that next resource is due in the next few weeks. This thing has a 14-kilometre strike. We've drilled 1.2 kilometres of it. My guys are out there today drilling to the east and to the west of this target, and we feel this thing is scalable. We haven't drilled a hole deeper than 150 metres below surface. It's been drilled on 40-metre centres, and in preliminary metallurgical test work done on this thing shows that it's quite simple metallurgically. It generates gravity gold, a copper gold concentrate and a cobalt gold concentrate, all of which will be readily saleable. I have to throw some numbers up here, and again, these drill hits from our work last year were what got me interested. Again, we don't fully understand the structural controls of this thing yet, but we've drilled 24,000 metres of RC into it, and so far we can't kill it. Numbers at over 4 grams per tonne gold and 6%, 3% cobalt give this thing an opportunity which some of the other ore bodies I've seen don't have. The second most important asset we have, and being something quite unusual for an exploration company, is the fact we own a processing plant. Rodeo Hill was built in the 80s by an Italian company and started up as a nickel copper concentrator. It's had 3 owners. It was shut down in 2008 on the back of low copper and nickel price, and it's sat idle ever since. 2016, Artemis acquired this asset from the vendors for 4 million Australian dollars in cash and paper, and we've been working on refurbishing this plant since 2017. As I said, it was a base metal concentrator, and what we've done is added a gold circuit to it, a capability it's never had. This is quite important for our own shear and vein hosted gold targets, also the regional conglomerate gold opportunities that we sit in the middle of. This is a picture taken in October. It's advanced a lot since then, and this was very much an ugly duckling when I first saw the project in the beginning of 2018. I can happily say she's a beautiful swan now, and this old girl, though being built in 1980, has got a new heart, new crushers, new grinding circuits, and a brand new gold circuit ready to take coarse gold. Very simple flow sheet, as I said. Crush, grind, gravity is what it's set up for. We own a flotation circuit which I'm not prepared to install until Carlow Castle gets a little bit more advanced and we understand how we need to configure the back end of the plant. Importantly, this capital is already spent, and so an exploration company which already owns this infrastructure puts us very much ahead of the curve in terms of project development. Our gold strategy. Our gold strategy really has 2 legs, and many of the Australian investors just consider Artemis a conglomerate gold company. This is not true. We actually have shear and vein hosted gold targets, nearly 200,000 ounces of this material, and we also have a joint venture with Novo Resources, which is focused only on conglomerate and paleoplacer channel. The reason we did the joint venture with Novo was we wanted a big, must-leave, financially strong partner to do the heavy lifting on the conglomerate gold package, of which these guys have been chipping away on it, and having met the team, they will unlock the conglomerate gold story. Happy for them to do that while my team focuses on Carlow Castle. Talks a little bit about the joint venture, and I'm sure Novo is much better known in this space than Artemis is, but again, with the joint venture agreed to a $5 million budget last year, and those guys are slowly some would say, but I'd say systematically working through Comet Well and Purdy's, and now working on their own Egina target. Last slide. So I said I'd be short. You can choose whether it's been interesting, but just to recap what Artemis is about. We are an Australian company. We do have an OTC QB listing. We have a small and mobile investor base in North America and also Europe. Our strategy is very simple. Focus on the region we're working in, which is the Pilbara, an area which has been underdone for metals exploration for many, many years. Owning the processing infrastructure at Radio Hill is a strategic advantage which few explorers have, and actually makes our ability to monetize our land position a much more near-term proposition. This company last year drilled 33,000 metres of drilling. We did 4 resource updates, released over 80 critical ASX releases. So if news flow is something you're interested in, sometimes it makes my head spin the amount of releases that this company does. News flow coming for this quarter will be strong. As I said, there's more resource updates coming, with Carlow Castle being the one I'm looking the most forward to. We're starting to do more work in the Patersons. We'll start a gravity survey this week, and with the attention that space is growing, I think that's one to watch. Anyway, thank you for sitting through this after the previous speaker doing his best to convince you all to sell your mining investments. I'm Wayne Bramwell. I'm at booth 1031 right out in front of this auditorium if anyone would like to talk. Thank you.